As the first raindrop hit the windshield, the city traffic ground to a halt. But it wasn't the weather that made Anthony Ellison, one of the city's most feared millionaire businessmen, freeze in his seat. It was his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, tugging at his sleeve. Her tiny voice trembled as she pointed out the tinted window of their luxury car. "Daddy, she's me. Mommy didn't find me." Ops. That would have been me. Anthony's breath caught in his throat. There on the sidewalk, curled up on a piece of damp cardboard, was a small girl, no older than Lily. She was skinny, shivering, and hugging her own elbows for warmth. People hurried past, their umbrellas forming a moving canopy, completely ignoring the child as if she were invisible. Her oversized shirt was torn, her hair was a tangled mess, and beside her was a sign scrawled in a child's handwriting. "Hungry. Not bad, just alone." Just then the girl lifted her eyes. They were tired, weary eyes, far too old for a child when they met Anthony's. He felt a strange, heavy weight settle in his chest. His chauffeur glanced in the rearview mirror. "Sir, should I keep driving?" But Anthony didn't answer. He couldn't take his eyes off his daughter. Lily rarely spoke about her past. Before he adopted her, she had spent the first 4 years of her life in a turbulent cycle of foster homes, shelters, and sometimes living on the street with her birth mother. He knew the memories haunted her, but she never ever brought them up. Until now. "Daddy," she whispered again, tears welling up in her big eyes. "Please don't leave her." The rain began to fall harder, drumming against the car roof like urgent knocks. Anthony took a deep, shaky breath. He was a man of immense wealth and power. When he spoke, people listened. When he waved his hand, things happened. But in that moment, staring at the desperate child on the pavement, he had never felt more powerless. He realized with a sickening jolt that all his money, all his influence, meant absolutely nothing if a child was still out here in the cold rain, living the exact life his daughter had so narrowly escaped. Without another thought, he opened the car door. The cold, damp air hit him instantly. The little girl on the cardboard jumped, startled, and pulled her knees closer to her chest. He crouched down beside her, his expensive suit getting soaked. "Hey," he said gently, his voice soft. "Are you hungry?" She gave a small, hesitant nod, her eyes still fixed on the ground. He held out his hand. "Come with me. I'll help you." But she flinched away from his touch. "I'm not supposed to go with strangers." The answer was so innocent, so heartbreakingly responsible, that it made him smile sadly. "You're right," he said. "You're very smart. My name's Anthony." And this he stepped aside, revealing his own daughter peeking out from the car, is Lily. The homeless girl's eyes widened as she saw Lily, who offered a shy, gentle smile. Lily leaned out a little further. "Hi," she said softly. "I used to be scared a lot too." Something in the girl's guarded expression seemed to soften. "What's your name?" Lily asked. "Emma," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. Raindrops were dampening her thin, matted hair as she looked back and forth between the man in the suit and the little girl in the warm car. "Emma," Anthony said again, his tone kind. "I want to take you somewhere warm, somewhere safe. You don't have to come. You don't have to be alone tonight." After a long moment, Emma finally placed her cold, shaking hand in his. At the hospital, doctors confirmed Anthony's worst fears. Emma was severely malnourished, dehydrated, and suffering from deep exhaustion. She ate the food they gave her silently but quickly, as if terrified someone would snatch it away. Lily sat right beside her the entire time, handing her napkins, whispering jokes, and telling her all about her school and her favorite drawings. Later, when Emma fell asleep sitting up, her head drooping onto Lily's shoulder, Anthony felt something shift deep inside him. A door he never even knew was locked suddenly creaked open. That night, he made a series of phone calls, called his assistant, his lawyers, and even the mayor of the city. His voice wasn't just firm, it was fueled by a powerful, newfound conviction. "No child in my city," he declared to anyone who would listen, "should be sleeping on the ground like trash while billionaires are buying their dogs gold collars." He didn't care whose feathers he ruffled or who he offended. His priorities had been violently rearranged. The next morning, Emma woke up in a clean, bright room with warm blankets, fresh clothes, and Lily sitting at the edge of the bed, holding a coloring book. "Is this real?" Emma asked, blinking in the soft light, utterly confused. "Yes." Lily giggled, her happiness infectious. Daddy said you're staying with us until your mom is found or, unless you want to stay forever. Tears immediately filled Emma's eyes. She had spent months waiting on that same street corner, abandoned after her mother disappeared into a downward spiral of addiction and never came back. People had given her loose change, maybe a sandwich, but no one had ever offered her anything permanent, nothing with love attached. Anthony entered the room quietly and pulled a chair closer to the bed. "Emma," he said, making sure she was looking at him, "I want you to hear this directly from me. You're safe now. I am not letting you go back to the streets." "Eva." Emma swallowed hard, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. "Why?" she whispered. "I'm not special." Lily immediately grabbed her hand. "You're special to me," she said fiercely. The two girls hugged, and watching them, Anthony felt a rare tear sting the corner of his own eye. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of change. Anthony, true to his word, funneled his immense resources into action. He funded emergency shelters, created scholarship programs for underprivileged youth, and launched a citywide task force dedicated to helping homeless children. Emma, once invisible on the sidewalk, became the face of the movementa, symbol of hope and a reminder of the children society had forgotten. But the biggest change happened within the walls of Anthony's own home. Emma slowly began to heal. The nightmares that had plagued her sleep started to fade. She started laughing, a bright, clear sound that filled the house with life. She and Lily became inseparable, sisters in every single way that mattered. One evening, as Anthony was tucking the girls into bed, Emma whispered, Do you think I'll ever get to stay here forever?" Before Anthony could even answer, Lily sat bolt upright in her bed. "Daddy, please. She's my sister." Anthony looked at the two girls, one he had chosen to be his daughter years ago, and one who had chosen them simply by surviving long enough to be found. A smile spread across his face. "Yes," he said finally, his voice thick with emotion. "Let me make it official." Emma threw her arms around him, burying her face in his shirt and crying tears of pure relief. Lily joined the hug, wrapping her arms around both of them. Months later, on a sunny morning in a quiet courthouse, Emma stood between Lily and Anthony. A judge, smiling warmly, handed them the official adoption papers. This, Anthony whispered to Emma, squeezing her hand, "is the best decision I've ever made." Emma squeezed back, her eyes shining. "No, the best decision you made was stopping the car." Anthony shook his head. "No, sweetheart, the best decision I ever made was listening to Lily." He glanced down at his first daughter, the little girl who had pointed her small finger at a child the world had cast aside, and said the 5 words that changed everything: "Daddy, she's me." In the end, the powerful millionaire didn't just adopt a child. He transformed a life. He transformed a city, and most importantly, he transformed himself. Because sometimes it takes the simple, honest voice of a child to remind the powerful what power is really for. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider sharing it and subscribing to our channel for more content that inspires. We'll see you next time.